Hi you guys. So today we're going to start planting in the above ground beds. I'm going to start doing some cold crop. I'm going to plant a couple MI Gardener spinaches and spinach that I took seed from myself last year, carrots that I took seed from last year, and some beets. These are both MI Gardener, and some kale from Adapted Seed Company. I've had these since 2015, so I'm not sure they're going to grow, but we're going to give it a shot. I'm going to plant the beets in this bed and something else down there, one of the other things, probably spinach. And then I will plant some things in here and here, and we'll walk around and look at it. But because this year is so important for growing, I'm going to pull out these flowers that overwintered. They're foxglove. I usually like to just let anything that overwinters continue to grow to attract bees, but this year I think it's so important to have every foot of grow space. I'm going to pull those, but I am going to try to transplant them into other, like other close areas, or in a pot or something, so I don't entirely give them up, but I need the square footage. The other thing I wanted to show you is that I make markers in the bed, and I don't buy markers because I think it's a waste of time and money, but I just took this cottage cheese container, cut this into a bunch of strips. I'll cut a strip off like right there, and then or tear it off, and then that becomes my marker, and I'll just put it in the dirt after writing on it. So let's go ahead and get started. Hi you guys, so I'm back again. I wanted to talk for a couple seconds or minutes about planting. So if you're planting beets, carrots, any root vegetable that is specifically a cold crop, and you just want them only for fresh eating, then what you might want to do is like plant 2 rows and then, or 2 areas, and then in about 2 weeks after that plant another 2, and 2 weeks after that plant another 2, so you always have fresh veg coming on. I am going to can these and give some away, so I'm going to plant the whole half bed all at once. And then when I take it all up, I'll put another crop in here, and then in the fall I'll replant beets again, and I'll do entire half beds at a time. So if you're doing fresh, do just a few rows at a time, and every few weeks plant more. That's true for spinach, which I will keep fresh because I like to eat it fresh. That's true for kale. That's true for mustard greens. It's true, just, carrots, whatever. So just think in your mind, if you get a whole bunch at once, are you going to can them? Are you going to process them, give them away? Or would you rather just have fresh for eating? So that's one thought. Another thing I wanted to show you is, before we started, you might remember there were some beets in this bed, and these did overwinter, so I decided to pull them out. Sometimes when things overwinter, they're woody and hard. These actually look really good, so we're just going to eat them. I like to roast these in aluminum foil with a little bit of salt on top, cut them in half, and then they caramelize. There's a lot of sugar in beets. Remember sugar beets? Sugar used to come from beets. It still does, actually. So anyway, I pulled those out, and we're just going to eat them. And with beets, too, you can eat the greens on top just like you would kale, Swiss chard, or spinach. It's really good sautéed with bacon and onions and garlic in olive oil or butter. Or if you're vegan, sauté the sucker in olive oil with some onion and garlic, and it is yummers. Okay, so that's just what I wanted to talk about very briefly, and let's get planting. Alright, so now we're going to plant some Detroit dark red, and I just wanted to show you how I plant. Beets are a pretty large seed, so you can control them. Oops, I'll show it to you. Control them when you drop them. Not very difficult. So instead of just throwing them like crazy because I only have a limited amount of seeds here. I'm going to back you up so you can actually see the seeds. Take a measuring stick. I'm going to consciously put a seed there, and then about 2 inches later, and I'll give you an aerial in a second. I do it like I did the onions. These seeds are going to grow next to each other and become balls. So when they do, I want to make sure they have enough room to get big and fat, but not touch each other. So I want about a fist. If I think they're going to get fist size, which is gigantic, I'd put a fist size between each other. I think they're going to be less than, so I'll do like half a fist size. And I just drop, drop, drop. And let's bring you in to take a look. So you can see I've got a seed here, a seed here. Oop, I've got 2 seeds that jumped right there. Put those back here. Seed, seed here, seed here. So you get it. And that's how you plant beets. So now what I'm going to do is just take the dirt and put it just over the top of the seeds. I just kind of do this with the dirt. You don't need to bury them deep. Remember, the rule of thumb for seeds is twice as deep as they are tall, and these are not very tall. And then I'm going to bring in the mulch, which I've got there. Ta-da. And then I'm going to mark this row with this thing from the container. So today's date and beets, what they are. And then I'll just go ahead and put it at the top of the row. I always mark the top of the row. Actually, I should go this way. And now I'll do that for the rest of these, and we'll take a look at when it's done. Okay, peeps, so now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 big rows of beets planted on half this long bed. And I did move some flowers here. Like I said, I'm going to have to remove them from that bed because I want the real estate, but instead of tossing them, I decided just to use that last space underneath the this corner here. Because whenever I plant here, I don't get a lot of sun on this side. Let's see, this is north, on the north side of the beds. It's just too shaded. Now the south side is a different story, so I'll have to figure out if I'm going to plant veg or flowers there for the bees. So anyway, I moved the flowers for those of you that were cringing when I said I was going to toss them. So I just moved them. And so now we've got the beets all planted, and we're going to move on to spinach, and that'll be a second video. So thanks for watching.